Welcome to the Community Table, where we explore the secrets to success of the top real estate producers in our local market. A real conversation, hosted by Community Mortgage.
So you're helping spearhead all these great videos I'm seeing on the Community Instagram right now, right?
Yeah, well, I'm trying as long as I can, get people to participate. But
People have a hard time being on camera.
yeah, what about you?
I help with the firm's videos. And again, it's who's willing to do what. Not everybody's comfortable sitting in front of a camera or definitely talking. The minute I say, hey, I need you to talk, it's like, hey, who will do this? I need you to just say a few words. Crickets.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do it.
Well, I think the biggest thing with me is just I think people want to measure what they're actually getting out of it, especially people that maybe have been in the industry
Longer.
social media, and so they're like, how is this actually going to help my business? And I'm like, in the long run, I'm trying to get us out there as much as possible. And, hopefully it only takes, I'm sure you've seen, and we'll get into it, but it's like, it only takes one video to hit and you're getting all the views and
Truly.
You might go viral. Which, have you gone viral before? Do you know?
What is your definition of viral?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would say that Shannon and I we have one video that has like 150,000 views.
Wow.
That would be my definition of viral, I guess. None of the rest of them really come close to that number.
Yeah.
But
yeah. We'll definitely get into that for sure. But yeah, social media, I feel like this is, about, I said it earlier off camera, but this is about to be like a masterclass because I feel like you are just so good at all things social media, and I learned from you. And I think one of the reasons why I want to have you on is because I think a lot of other people, whether they're in the business or just anybody that's wanting to, get into that a little bit more, could really benefit from a lot of what you're doing and what you're seeing and your expertise.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
But yeah, so let's just get into it. I have some questions that I kind of want to run through with you. But before we do that, I would love to hear your story of how you got here. Because I know, you were doing some other things and now you've gotten into real estate and you've had, quick success. And so I kind of want to hear how, what you were doing before and how we got here.
For sure. So I got my master's in healthcare administration, worked in hospitals for not very long before that sucked my soul out of me, and quit that, immediately moved into full-time fitness, worked my way into managing all the cycle bars around town pre-COVID, and then COVID came along, everything shut down, and I really realized how unstable my life was, my financial situation was. I had all these friends who were still working every day, still getting paid every day. And I was just like, okay, what should we do now? Because no one is coming to work out, or and for like 10 weeks, we couldn't even be open. And then one day someone just kind of encouraged me to kind of look into real estate. Mm-hmm. And I took fast track real estate school, which honestly was the best thing I could have done.
Yeah.
It was a 5-week program every day from 5 to 9 on Zoom. And I immediately took the test right after that class was over, and bam, we were in the ball game. Got my license toward the end of 2021, and January 2022, I had my first closing.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Well, I remember, so that's how I actually met you originally with Cycle Bar.
Yeah.
I almost feel like our paths may have crossed because we graduated the same year.
They had to have crossed.
At some point, but yeah, we didn't realize. And you went to Alabama, I went to Ole Miss, so we're both howdy toddy. We're both back in Memphis, but that was kind of how I met you originally. And I remember COVID. Cycle Bar let
7 a.m.
Yes. But
y'all were big 7 a.m.ers.
Yes. And then, but they let us take the bikes home for a while.
You were someone that got a
yes.
bike. That was a big deal. When we said we were going to rent the bikes, we sold out of the bike rental in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Flat. We weren't even prepared for that. That was That was crazy.
Yeah, such a good idea. But I will say, like, you taking your classes, like, I always used to joke, it's like going to church. Like, it's so incredible. And, you know, the way you encourage, and, you know, I think that comes through on, you know, kind of everything you do. And I think that's translated to real estate, you know, so well. But trying to do that in my living room by myself, like without you, it is not the same at all. Not. So it was nice to be able to have that. But so interesting. So yeah, so you've pivoted, you're in real estate. I think obviously, you know, like we've said, you've become successful, but you're still kind of doing, you know, you're still
coaching.
Fitness. Yes.
Definitely, you know, the beauty of that is I get to love coaching. And I can do it as much or as little as I want to. Right now, I'm in a, I guess, maximalist phase. But Tyler and I don't have kids yet. And we have this, I'm able to teach as much as I want to. And also, it's a great way to meet people. It's definitely where my sphere has grown and grown and grown as far as meeting people and new clients and things like that.
Yes. Yeah.
That has definitely been a major player in, I think, my success so quickly.
Yeah. So would you say that when you were doing all that, like, I remember y'all would post, like, we've got, you know, class at this time, and you still do that, like, talking about having your classes and everything. So would you say that was kind of when social media, like, really started for you? Like, y'all had to learn to kind of
for sure
put yourself out there?
In some, not all fitness spaces, but in some, you get paid based on how many people are in your class. So it benefits you to promote the studio, your class times, other people's class times, because you don't just want one good person, you want everyone to be good. So yeah, I would say when I really went full-time with fitness, that was when social media for me really became something that I invested in at time-wise. And started to really learn and figure out, you know, how do you get in front of people? How do you get exposure? How do you make sure that when people think of fitness or real estate or lending or whatever it is, you want them to think of you? And that's what social media, that's kind of, I think, where my strategy with social media. In the beginning, it was fitness. Now it's real estate with a little bit of fitness still in there. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's definitely, you know, it translated well because you were already, you know, we were seeing you all the time and posting, so it translated easily. But like I said, I feel like you're just so good at it. So did you have a background in it, like any of your classes that you took, like any media classes, any marketing classes?
My degree from Alabama is in public relations.
Okay.
And the PR program at Alabama actually is second in the country.
Wow.
And I did my track. My focus was in design. So I did a lot not with social media, because social media when we were in college still wasn't really anywhere close to what it is now.
We were still putting the sepia filter on our
Instagram was like, you have these 10 filters and that's what you choose.
Was not curated.
And it was just a square photo. Boy, I kind of missed that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I've had formal media training, but I think that my undergrad education actually now has benefited me so much in what social media has become.
Yeah. So interesting. I feel like now they're offering classes now.
Oh.
You know, and I'm like, I wish we would have had that when we were there.
Absolutely. Because, but think about it this way though. Also, like when we were there, Instagram was here. They're now. As quickly as they take that class, something else is going to come along. You know, the minute it's almost like technology moves too fast for the education to keep up with it. I would love to take a class, but then at the same time, I'm like, by the time that all of that information is absorbed, like something else has come along. So they love to change the algorithm. They love to change the rules. My opinion of the rules is there are no rules, but like.
That's a good, I like that advice. Well, and that's where I kind of want to get into that with you a little bit. I've got some questions on that, just as far as like how you do monitor the changes and everything. Because I feel like sometimes I always feel like I'm a little bit of a step behind. Like I feel like I can kind of see the
easy
trends, and then I'm
to
like,
feel
am I
that
too
way.
late on this? Am I too late on this trending song or this trend or,
Yeah.
whatever it is? But obviously I love, discussing it with you. So I would like, for you to kind of share, what would you say your number one tip, kind of on how to make social media work for you? What that would be, like if you're talking to an agent that might be struggling in that department, what would your advice be for them to improve their social media presence, and kind of just like your number one overall tip?
My favorite piece of advice to give, especially in this world that has moved so into video. I mean, I feel like everything is moving into video. I think eventually we'll see even Zillow turn into video instead of pictures. I think that it will eventually become that. My favorite piece of advice that I ever was given, I don't even remember what it was. I was watching some person on Zoom during COVID, and they were talking about social media. It wasn't the point of their little class or anything. I want to say it actually was a finance situation. I was like learning about like money.
Yeah.
But they were talking about their Instagram and their TikTok and whatever. And they said, if you're someone that's into social media, my biggest piece of advice to you is quit hating your voice.
I need to hear that.
Quit hating your voice, because how I sound in my head right now is different than how I sound to the rest of the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you watch a video back of yourself, you're like, do I really sound like that? Well, yes, you do. And that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
That is just how you are. That's who you are. That's your voice. That's the voice you were given. Use it. Don't be afraid to just be yourself. And the minute I heard the quit hating your voice part, I was like, oh, that's actually like really simple, because there's nothing you can do to really change how you sound or what your voice is. So just use it.
Yeah.
We all have one. Like, use it. I think that would be my biggest piece of advice, is quit being afraid of being in front of the camera, or quit hating how you think you sound. People are going to listen as long as you have something worth saying, or worth listening to, or bringing value. Those are your three things you want to make sure you're doing. You got to bring value, or or people need to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
One or the other.
That is so good. I need to hear that. That just like hit me in the feels, because I'm like, I have felt that. Like some days I'm like, I'm going to record myself, and I may record it like 10 times. And I'm like, I hate this. Like I hate it so much. But I'm always glad when I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put something out, and then, it's usually well received.
Okay, but you recently did put something out where you just literally sat down in front of the camera. Like, I love those videos that you do. You don't do them very often.
I know, because I don't like my voice.
But they're so good, and they make you be seen as the expert. And that's why I love that.
Yeah. Well, that's so good. So if anybody is like watching, listening, if they're struggling with that, which I think majority of people do, that is great advice. I love that. Not only your voice, but some days I'm like, I'm not liking the way I'm looking today.
My hair ain't doing what I want it to do, or this is it decided to pop up, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I was trying to do one yesterday, and then I was just like, you know what? No, I just didn't have enough makeup on. I didn't think but like I said, it's just, you just got to do it.
There, especially even on the days where you're like, wow, I really don't want to do this right now. Just do it.
Yeah,
just do it, because you're gonna get it. It's one more opportunity for you to get put in front of people, someone else.
I may go off script a little bit, but that kind of leads me to a question that I feel like you're also really good at, and kind of segues. Do you still keep, because I know we've talked about this before, you used to keep a very strict schedule where you would plan out your posts.
So the calendar has died.
It has.
I don't use the calendar anymore. I should use the calendar. That's a great example of do as I say, not as I do. This year I got lax on the calendar. I let the calendar go. And I actually have noticed I have posted less this year. I don't think that has affected me as much. But I will also say I did not see, I don't know this for sure, but I don't think I saw as much growth this year in social media as far as like followers gained. But I definitely had more overall views this past year. So like it's a give and a take with
Yeah.
that. But no, the calendar to me, though, is so beneficial for the person who is trying to start. It's such a great accountability holder. I used to use Google Sheets. Literally click and drag it down, start with January 1st or whatever day of the year it is that you're starting, and just go to the end of the year. And then, you know, every third or fourth day, make sure you have something to post. Make them intentional. Look, it could be Happy Labor Day. You know when Labor Day is. It could be Happy Valentine's Day, Happy 4th of July. You can pick all the holidays, put them in there. That's an easy yes. People will appreciate it. Make it a video. Make it a video with your cat. I don't know. Like your family, if you're single, make it you and your Christmas tree in the background. I don't know. But like, just make it personable and people will like it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's like when I first got started, like you said, like maybe doing it more when you're getting started to kind of get it going, you know, and now I've gotten a lot more.
No, you have your
lax,
footing
too.
and you're like, I don't have to look at this document all the time.
Yes, which I never had a calendar. I should have, but I was at least like, okay, I'm at least going to try to post, you know, 2 times a week, 3 times a week, you know, whatever.
Intentional. You were being intentional.
Yeah. So I think that got it going, and then you kind of get your following. And then when you know, do post, then it's kind of like, okay, well, people, they're already kind of looking at it, watching for it. So that helps, because now I just am like, oh, I have an idea. I'm going to like do something when the mood strikes me, you know? So that's kind of how I'm doing it these days. But like you, I'm like, I don't know whether or not that's really working for me or not. But so as far as translating speaking of that working for me, translating social media activity into actual leads for your business, that can trace back to, you know, you know, I'm sure looking at the algorithm, looking at, you know, there's the things that you can look at that kind of show you the statistics and all that kind of stuff. But do you ever go back and look at that and see like, okay, this has actually led to business? I've gone into my DMs. I've translated that into business.
So yes, I can speak to this. I can't give you hard numbers, but I can speak to it. So something I love about the firm is every January we have individual agent meetings to recap the previous year, but also to talk about goals for the future year or the year you're in. So like in January, we'll have a goals meeting. My first goals meeting that I had with them back when I started, something that they encouraged me to do was, hey, write out your current clients, your past clients, write them out. And then right next to their name, write out where they came from. How did you meet these people? Were they good friends? Did you meet them at the gym? Did you meet them at the coffee shop? Like, where did you meet them? How did they become your client? Were they a referral? And so Instagram actually started becoming more and more of something that I was writing next to people. It was, hey, they reached out to me on Instagram. And last year, 2024, 1/3 of my clients came from Instagram.
Oh, wow.
1/3 of my total sales came from Instagram. That is where that came from. I haven't done my little map of 2025 to look at if it was more or less this year. I would say it's probably about the same, though, if I had to guess. I mean, even the start of the fall, I had 3 different people reach out all kind of at the same time, being like, hey, like I've followed you for a little while on Insta. I started following you because of a giveaway or whatever it is. And I think that you clearly do a good job. Will you list my house, or will you help my kid buy their first house, or whatever it is? But Instagram, definitely, if you're willing to be vulnerable and put yourself out there on it, whether it's silly videos all the time or totally serious ones, be yourself. People are going to take you seriously as long as you be yourself.
Yeah.
You can be as silly as you want to be. People are still going to take you seriously as long as you're being true to who you are.
Yeah.
And I think that has really been a big part of why I see the business come from that platform.
Yeah. That's incredible, because and are you able to kind of see if it's some people that you already knew, or you really have had some that were like organically grown through?
Organically grown. A lot of them are organically grown. A lot of them I will have never have met before. Maybe they took a cycle bar class once upon a time or something like that. But a lot of the time it's simply, hey, I've seen your marketing. I really like how you market homes. Something I always make a point to do when I go to a listing presentation, to meet with a seller. And especially if I know that they're shopping around for an agent, I'm going to make a point to pull up my Instagram and show them, hey, you're going to get this exposure. The whole point of selling your house is getting as much as exposure as possible. This is a value that I'm able to add. Something I also do for almost every client, I can't do it for every price point, but I try to do my best, is professional videography. That is always a high thing on my list because it allows me to, again, exposure. You want as many people to see it as possible. And the better quality of your video, typically the more views, the more engagement you're going to see from that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. That's, I think for me as a loan officer, may not be as important for me to be, having the big social media following. I always hoped that it would turn into something where like I could get leads that way and then be able to, refer them out or, however it may be, and kind of organically grow it that way for myself.
But it's still the long game.
Yeah.
Remember that. Like you talk about that as if it's not still happening currently.
That's true.
You are still very much doing that right now. So keep going. Keep going with that.
Here he is with the encouragement. But no, that's, but thinking about you as an agent, being able, I didn't even think about that, like being able to present that to a list, to a potential client and for a listing and say, like, look at this following I have, look at this exposure that you're going to get,
Well, and something else I really like about Instagram, Facebook is you can pay for that professional video to be an ad. And that when you do that, you get real data on the post. So like Instagram will provide you with how many people saw it, where those people live, what demographic they are, what ages they are, all those things. You can show that data to your client and say, hey, like we paid, I don't know, let's say I paid $200 for that video to be pushed out for like a week and a half, for 10 days. That typically creates a lot of exposure. And also I can watch the share rate of that video typically go up a good amount because you might not be shopping for a house, but you know that your best friend's cousin, for whatever reason, is. And so you might click that share button and send it over to them, or send it to your mom, or send it to whoever that you know might have someone that's looking. That's always super critical to me and so helpful to the exposure.
Yeah. So on the subject of the professionally done videos with the videographer, which like, there you have some awesome ones. Like if people have not been to Peterson's Instagram, you definitely need to go look at some of those, like the James Bond one you did. Such a good idea. Love that one. But would you say based on that, like I've started to see, in my very small research, the algorithm likes a little bit more raw in some cases too, like not quite so polished. So would you say like some of the ones that you film yourself where you're, walking through a house and you've got a Taylor Swift song, in the background or, versus like actually hiring a videographer for some videos, like what would like?
So it's funny. It depends. Like the James Bond video, I have to give props to Memphis Media, Carol, for that because he totally came up with that concept. And I had the pleasure of just showing up in my tuxedo. It was so wonderful of him.
So good.
He and I typically collaborate on things like that, but it's so funny because I made a little video of me just putting the sign in the yard the day before we were listing in order to like just let people know, hey, I have a new listing in East Memphis coming, whatever. And that video got like so many more views than the actual like James Bond video that we spent like so much time filming, and he spent so much time editing, and like it's so you're right, like there's no rhyme or reason for there are definitely times where the raw video that's just like me getting the sign out of my car, why did that get 20,000 views? Like, why did people care about that when they didn't even see the house? They saw nothing about the house except the front door.
Well, and that's kind of going into, you know, a big kind of, it's a long question, but I feel like it has, you know, many parts that we can get into.
Bring it
based on that. Like, you know, so we're talking about polished versus unpolished, but what do you see that actually gets the algorithm? Like, for instance, you know, they say trending song. You can go in and you can look at a song that's trending. There's been, you know, 300,000 reels. That you put, you know, is it the song?
So right there. Well, no, actually. And this is like my opinion. No idea if this is right or wrong. The 3,000 view, the three trending song. Let's say it says that there have been 300,000 reels made with that trending song. I wouldn't use that song. Too many reels have been made using that song.
Okay.
To me, the sweet spot is finding the songs that they've only made like 30 to 80,000 videos using that song. Find songs that have a little lower because one, if it is trending, there are less of them. So Instagram is probably more likely to push out that video rather than the ones that everyone has made. It again, this is just my opinion. I have no idea if this is right or wrong, but I have come to find the ones that had higher usage didn't do as well. My other reasoning for liking the ones that have lower, if you can catch the song on the low end, now you got to let it pick up steam. So I don't like to do it if it's under like 20 or 30,000 because I don't want to be the first. I don't have millions of followers. I'm not going to be the one to make the song go, you know, where you want it to go. But then if that song continues to stay trending, your video is going to continue to be pushed because it was one of the earlier ones. Instagram's going to reward you for that.
Okay.
Again, just my opinion. I don't know that any of that is real or factual or true, but in the like playing of the game, that's kind of something I have come to find is if you definitely go look and see how many videos have been made, like it's Christmas time. I'm sure All I Want for Christmas Is You is trending right now. Go look at how many people have used it because I bet that the number is like in the millions at this point.
Okay.
I wouldn't use it.
That's so surprising and that's good. Another good lesson for me too, because I'm like, I just assume that most, like the more plays it has, the better.
Oh yeah, no, not necessarily. I don't, or at least I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. I'm gonna try that because I've definitely been going for the you know the ones that I've had.
Go for the trending sound. Definitely go for the trending sound. I am still a definite believer in that.
But find a sweet spot.
Yeah.
Okay. So on that subject, then what do you think about hashtags? Are they dead?
I think they're dead.
Really?
I think they're dead.
Because what did they do before? So basically, you would hashtag, and then it would go into like the Discover page.
So I
can click on a hashtag and put you know, in a pool of all the other hashtags.
Right.
Because I'm using a couple. I'm not using like as many as I used to.
In my phone, I have a note that has a list of them that I copied for a long time that I copy and paste. It actually has all my contact information right above them, and then I have all the things so I can just copy and paste it every time. I have come to find recently I've started like testing, do I need to use these hashtags? It hasn't seemed to make a difference. I think because keywords have become more of the thing now. And this is also something else that you can consider doing. ChatGPT. Write your post yourself. Write it yourself. And then copy and paste it and put it in there and ask it to rewrite it using trending keywords for Instagram.
Okay.
Now, I still might tweak it to make sure it still sounds true to who I am and what I'm trying to do, or
Take
to
some
the
long dash
listing
out.
or whatever it is. But the keywords are really where it's going now. Instead of hashtags, they're just pulling the keywords from your whole
Oh, wow.
caption.
Okay.
They're looking for the trending words or phrases. Now, what are they? I don't know. They're not telling you. It's not posted anywhere. Like, there's no like way of knowing this. But for whatever reason, ChatGPT can figure out what words are popular right now in this moment and put them into your script or your caption or whatever it is.
Okay. That is so interesting. So really it's like the keyword will pop up. It doesn't even have to have a hashtag. Like
No.
you could search, because I was using it the other day to try to find, actually kids boutiques for Gentry to try to find like some clothes, and like I just searched what I was kind of looking for and it
Did you find it?
I did.
There
yes.
it is.
So it was.
And you did that without a hashtag.
That's true. Yeah. So that is such good advice. So what about time of day?
Okay. So that's funny that you bring this up.
Because I think it shifts and it changes.
Shannon McWaters and I, we love to make videos together. Shannon will laugh at this. We go through phases. We're like gung ho and we're making all these videos and we're posting them sometimes multiple times a week. And then we're like, I am tired. We're going to take a break.
Yes.
We were believers in the 6 a.m. post. Hardcore. We were big believers in that. We have now moved to lunchtime.
Okay.
We like lunchtime. Now, why do we like lunchtime? I don't know. I couldn't. But we have found that we are getting the exposure we want posting at lunch.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's a good point, because I actually just over the last couple weeks have told myself, like, when my eyes open in the morning, I am not to look at social media. I'm going to give myself like an hour.
Well, and I think that more and more people are doing this. And honestly, we should all be doing this.
Yeah.
Like, it makes such a difference.
But at first, I think it did work when you posted it first thing in the morning, because like I immediately would be like, I'm getting on my phone. I'm going to check all my social media apps, see what's going on. And I'd see it, And so like this morning, I was so proud of myself. I don't think I checked it until 8:45, which like sounds like not that long,
No,
but I was really, like, normally it's like 6 a.m.
And gosh, we could go down a rabbit hole with this subject.
Which I love.
But I will say, I haven't cut it out for me as the first thing in the morning, but I have cut it out
at night
before bed.
Yeah.
And the sleep is so different in the best way.
Yeah.
I am falling asleep like pretty easily, and I'm not having any type of weird dreams or any of that stuff that they talk about. Like, I really do believe in the give yourself at least 30 minutes before you plan to like get in bed and go to sleep. The phone does not come to bed. Do not bring it in there. I mean, it can sit on your nightstand. That's fine. But don't get in bed and start scrolling. You'll be there for 2 hours and you'll look up and be like, how did it get to be midnight? Ooh, well, TikTok let it do that to you.
Yes. Well, and that's sometimes when I'm like, I need to find like ideas, So I'm like, if I have like long enough downtime, like I don't want to try to do it in the middle of the workday, So I'm like, I need to, do some research and like look at what's trending.
Well, and
ideas.
What time does Gentry go to bed?
7:30.
Well, and then that's you and Hunter's time, though. Yeah. So, like, looking for Instagram ideas isn't really what you want to be doing at that time.
Yes, but I think it's interesting. The timing has shifted. I've noticed, because sometimes I will post in the evening thinking, oh, everybody same as me. Like, they put the kids to bed, they've had dinner, now they're rotting on the couch, on social media, and like I've noticed those haven't really been doing as well in the evening.
I think the daytime is the sweet spot.
Yeah. Well, and you'd like to assume everybody's taking their lunch break. They're going to look at their phone. They're not going to be looking at their phone, when they're hard at work.
At work.
Yeah. Not me. Never. I'm never going to look at my phone. But yeah, so that's super interesting. And then I feel like kind of the last piece of that is, and we kind of touched on it, you do a really good job of kind of mixing everything. Like I for one, have two separate Instagrams. Yes. I have a personal and I have a business. And I felt like there's a lot of people that follow my personal, maybe from college or, that don't live here, that live all over the world. And I'm like, or country, I would say, maybe not all over the world. But I think that sometimes I'm like, they don't want to see what I'm doing, business wise. So I started my separate one, which I grew and it does pretty well. But sometimes I think it's too business heavy. Like I don't show enough of my personal life. And even though some people follow me on both and they can see both, I'm like, I do wish sometimes I had combined them so that I do think people like to see your real life.
Absolutely.
And you have one where you kind of post everything.
I do.
And I love your personal content too.
So when I first started real estate, I really thought about making the realtor account and keeping it totally separate. I think the benefit of not doing that is it does allow people to feel more connected to you. Showing the personal life, showing Gentry pushing his truck down the sidewalk or whatever it is. But also it's a lot of work having to, it is a lot of work having to. I'm very glad I didn't do that route. The making it business heavy is easy to do. Especially if you have a personal one, because you're posting on your personal one and you're like, well, I don't want to post the same thing on my business account, but I also want these people to maybe see the stuff, which is where collaborative posts have really probably come into play for you. I would guess that's probably helped. I don't know. I don't think there's necessarily a right or wrong way with that. I think it's just whatever works for you as far as what you're comfortable sharing, what you're not comfortable sharing. I'm pretty comfortable sharing whatever.
Which I think is why it makes it so good, because you get to see kind of a piece of you and really get to know you and Ty and your family. I mean, I was living for the Disney World content, when you were in Disney World. So it's, fun for, I think, people that know you, but also that don't know you, to get to see that side too.
The funniest part of it is, because my sweet husband is so willing to just be on there and do whatever I am asking him to do.
Yeah, you don't get that with everybody.
He's willing to just be there. But the best is people go up to him in public and they'll be like, I feel like I know you and I know Peterson, and he'll be like, it's so nice to meet you, and he'll call me, he'll be, this person talked to me and I can't tell you their name and they have brown hair, and I'm like, cool.
Yeah. Well, now you need to train him to remember who they are, and then that way you can follow up with them. It'd be a good.
That's actually smart. I do need to talk to him about that.
Yeah. Hunter, sometimes I'm like, business comes from him, and he's like, hey, I met some people, and I told him to call you, and the next thing you know, they're calling me, and I'm like, okay, I need to hire you. But yeah, so that's great. I love that. But so we kind of touched on how you you show personal, and you do such a good job of that, and you feel very true to yourself, very authentic, when you're on there, which, like I said, I think people love that. So I guess just real quick for me, I think this would help me and other people. I think this is more for me than anybody else. I'm just, like I said, I'm just learning from you and getting all these tips. But how do you do it on days that you just don't feel inspired? Do you just decide I'm just not going to post today and I'll just get back on it when I feel better?
So that's a good question. Yes is the worst answer is yes. There are definitely days where I'm like, wow, I just don't feel up for that, because we all have our days where we feel confident in ourselves and good about ourselves, and then we have other days where it's like, I had a really crappy morning, and I'm not excited about anything, and whatever it is. And then there are other days where I allow myself to sit for a second and feel whatever it is that I maybe need to feel. But then I'm like, okay, buck up. You need to do this. This is your job. This is literally your job. This is part of the job that you have chosen to do. Do it. Do it well. I'm a big proponent in either be in it or don't. Are you in or you out? Both feet, or which side of the line do you want to be on?
Yeah. I toe that line a lot.
Absolutely, as we all do. So, I mean, the worst answer to that is, there are definitely days where I'm like, you know what? I'm just not going to do it today. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Because we're all human. We're all going to have those days.
Yeah.
And then there are other days where I have to talk myself into it. And then there are other days where I'm like, this idea, I have to set everything aside and hone in on it and edit it and do all the things. And Just depends.
Yes. Well, I think that's good for anybody in any business. And I think, I always say sometimes whether you're working on your business or in your business, like on the days where I'm like, in my mind, I train myself to think like, well, I'm on my computer and I'm running numbers and I'm, doing my actual job, I feel. But then I'm like, but like you said, like the social media aspect, I think is part of our jobs, you know?
Well, because when people think of lending or needing a lender or needing to buy a house and they need financing, you want them to think of you.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
When people need to buy or sell a house, I want them to think of me. The exposure of social media that's what that is. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily, oh, how many clients did I get from this? Or did I get any clients from this? It's the getting in front of people and making them remember that that's what you do. Mm-hmm. And whether they need to buy a house next year or 10 years from now, those same people have friends, know people, live in our community, are connected in our community. If they're local, assuming they're local, which both of us have more localized following. So that's kind of why I speak to that. It's not necessarily about driving the business. It's more about making people remember who you are and what you do, and that you are the expert in that field. Mm-hmm. Whether they buy the house with you or not, but do they know you? Might they recommend you to someone else? Last year, I had someone who I do not know well at all recommend a listing to me. I got actually really nice listing from these people. I went over to their house. I met with them. I talked to them about what I do. And it was from someone who's never bought a house from me, never sold a house with me, nothing like that. We've met a couple times in person, just in passing, but we mostly are Instagram friends. And like that right there is a great example of you never know who or what doors might be opened simply because you posted that silly video.
Yeah. Silly video. That's a good, talking about that too, like going back to the curation of things. It's like I felt like I always had to post content that was educational, just always like, oh, what are rates doing today? This is the new loan limit. This is FHA versus VA, and it's kind of going back to that, like what the algorithm likes. I feel like if you do something that's silly or funny and then you get the view from it, like you said, like all you're really after is just top of mind and people seeing you and putting something out there, and I think our results speak for themselves as far as like our expertise, so I think there's definitely space to post things like that are kind of going to get the following going and the views going, and
people like to laugh too. That's something else, like helping people have a smile in their day. That might be the only smile they have that day. I've definitely had days like that. So yeah, I think that human connection of showing people, yes, we are here for business, yes, we run business, but we're also maybe going to have a little bit of laughs along the way. We're also maybe going to have a good time. Maybe you're someone who, I love to refer people to you because I know the personableness that you're going to give them. They're going to connect with you. That's like something that I love about you.
Thank you.
That translate, you're welcome. That also comes from posting funny things on Instagram, like that helps people connect with you.
Yes.
And I think that's why that also is important. It can be super educational, but it can also be fun.
Yeah, which I love that. Most of our collaborations have been
funny.
We've had some funny ones for sure. So I guess just kind of with that to sort of wrap some of it up, do you have anything kind of on the horizon for 2026? Anything like new things that you're going to try, new projects, just kind of what does next year look like for you? I know that's kind of a big question.
I wouldn't necessarily say I have new projects coming. Probably can just expect more, not of the same, definitely new ideas. I don't have necessarily any like on the forefront that I'm going to share, but
we can't take
probably just seeing. Hopefully, I do hope to get back more on my regular horse this coming year than I was this past year of posting more regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll get the calendar back out, actually. Maybe this conversation will spark me to do that.
You.
Hold myself a little more accountable.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, definitely more videos. You will definitely see more videos this coming year.
Yes. Well, would love to be in some with you because I need to do the same. You may have seen just over the last couple days, I'm just trying to put stuff back out there because it's tough. But well, thank you so much. I feel like this has been so, like I said, good for me. Every time I talk to you, I feel like I learn, and you're such a good resource for me when it comes to this kind of stuff. And I thought, again, like any agents new, been in the business forever, seasoned, can learn so much from you and from the social media aspect. So really quick, just how can people connect with you? I mean, that's really kind of what we've been talking about. Like, how can they find you?
Instagram. My handle is @pwelford. Email, phone. Do you want me to list those?
Yeah, go for it.
Cell phone is 901-219-9472. And then my email is petersonw@thefirmmemphis.com.
Okay, perfect. Yes. And Peterson Welford is he's, top producing agent with the firm Memphis, which I'm like, no introduction needed. I feel like we just kind of got right into it. I was kind of like geeking out, excited to talk to you. So I forgot to introduce you. So I feel like...
Well, come on, Miss Sophie Rain's top 5 lender in the city. Did I get that right?
I actually haven't even checked this year, so
we'll
hopefully if I'm not there today, I'll be there, again one day. But thank you so much, and I think this was helpful.